Glory be to Jesus. Glory be to Jesus. Ụmụ Chineke. Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. I know my problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Ụmụ Chineke.
Hey.
Do you believe that your problem is a simple matter in the hands of God?
Yes, Father.
If we had paid attention to the gospel text, there is a solid good news which we will share with you this moment. The first proposition to that good news is the identity of the works of Jesus. And what did the gospel text describe that work? Mighty what? Works. Amen. How did the gospel describe the work Jesus does? Mighty. But the challenge the people whom he called his own had, and which the gospel pointed out, is that he didn't do many mighty works. Because of what? So it is a matter of choice. It is a matter of either you accept to do what? Welcome Jesus, or you do what? Reject him. So if I may ask you, what is your position tonight? Are you accepting him or rejecting him? Sure. Sure. That you wish to do what? If we had paid attention to the gospel text, it said that Jesus did what? Came home. He came home to a domain that he felt that these were his own. To his own country. And the first challenge he had of unbelief from his own people was as a result of what? Familiarity. Amen? Familiarity. You know, some of us have become so familiar with the place we call our own home, that we do not see any problem with it. But it is not every place you think that is your own home that gives you the required faith to push further in life. There are some place of comfort you sit, and it doesn't allow you to achieve the divine purpose which God has created you for. That is to say, that when Jesus comes into your own home, he's coming to shake you out of your what? Familiarity. To shake you out of your place of just sit down dey look comfort. If you take, for instance, the character of Moses, we know how his birth, the events that surrounded his birth. And after he was given birth, how God divinely planned that he would institute him in the palace of who? Pharaoh. At that point in time, the palace of Pharaoh became what? His own country. And it was a place of comfort and a familiar terrain for him. But did Moses accept to remain there? Because for some of us, the cause of our unbelief is that we've just decided not to encounter the miraculous Jesus who does mighty work, and we decide to remain what? Comfortable at the state we find ourselves. But Moses was not trapped by the comfort because he was living in a palace, in the palace of a king. So he has the comfort of food. He has the comfort of clothing. He has the comfort of security. But he saw that he lacked the comfort of the welfare of his brothers. And that was why he realized that at that very place he was sitting, which was his own country, it was not the place where the Lord has what? Marked for him for a purpose. And now, the people today Jesus encountered in the gospel, the first mark of their unbelief, why many mighty works was not done in their life, is what? Familiarity. And the first sense of familiarity they had is that he is our brother. He is what? Our brother. And because he is our brother, there is this sense of envy that led to the what? The rejection of having faith to accept him. And this is our brother syndrome you could see in the life of who? Joseph. In the life of Joseph, Joseph had aspirations, he had dreams, and he has plans of purpose which the Lord has done what? Fashioned for him. And when he shared it with his brothers, what came up? Envy. And that envy brought about what? They planned that they should bring him down. And they lacked belief in what their brother was saying. For some of us, we have remained so comfortable in the place we call our own country, our place of comfort, such that when we tend to see people that will motivate us in spirit, we'll see them as what? Our brother. Who is this one to build us spiritually? Who is this one to motivate us to go to the Blessed Sacrament and pray? Who is this one? And the next thing, we begin to see those people as what? Holy Mweje. We begin to see those people as Santa Santimonos. And we begin to see those people as Ndi Amase Kaasekwa. And I am sure that some of you who are coming here have been faced with some type of rejection. But that is also not the place where the Lord has fashioned for you. Because in such situation, it is a preparation for what? Upliftment. And that is the good news the Lord has for us today. And when they had rejected him on the familiarity of that he is their brother, Jesus told them that a prophet is what? Not accepted, not recognized among his own. And who is a prophet? A prophet does not accept to stay in a place of comfort. Amen. A prophet does not accept to stay in a place of comfort. And a prophet is one who sees that the words he proclaims, the messages he gives out, are in accordance with the dictates of the teachings of the law of God. And if we check in the life of the prophet Jeremiah, Jeremiah was called just like Moses with a purpose, to leave the place of comfort and see that he liberates his people. But what did Jeremiah suffer? He suffered the same envy of the brother. And in the case of Jeremiah, they also did what? They even threw him in the pit. They rejected him and his message. But when the day the Lord has prepared to fulfill the message which Jeremiah has for his people, and things begin to happen as Jeremiah had said, and then the people of the Jewish people, the people of Israel, were led what? Into captive. That is the central message Jesus is giving you and me today, this night. That for every moment, you, for the sake of familiarity and reject the word of his prophet, you are doing what? Embracing what? Captivity. And this captivity could be in any form. It could be in captivity holding you not to progress in your business. It could be captivity holding you not to grow in life. It could be captivity holding you not to have your own children. It could be captivity holding you not to see the required effort or reward of the efforts you make in life. And why will such captivity hold you? Because you rejected a prophet, and because for the sake of the familiarity of brother, you were envy, and you had unbelief in God. And that is where you see yourself get stuck at that place of comfort. But mind you that not every place of comfort is the desired place God has for you. And that is where you see the captivity of rejecting a prophet's message will hold you bound. And for some of us are in this state in life, and for us we felt it is what? Comfort. And the other thing again that created a strong sense of unbelief in them is what? The comparison beyond expectation. Amen. Comparison beyond expectation. For some of us, when we talk of comparison beyond expectation, they think that the grace God gives and the blessings God gives is based on the much of your human efforts. And that is why for some of us, they think the intensity of the prayer they have put, and they are expecting some exact quantity of blessing. And they want to quantify how God blesses his people. And it does what? It weakens their faith. Amen. You don't compare in expectation what God should do for you. But the simple message Christ tells us today that they didn't get much because of their what? Their unbelief. There is simplicity in faith. There is simplicity in what? In faith. I know there are some people who have been coming to this very sanctuary for so many years, and they must have been hearing people who come for the first time, just listening to a few testimonies and put those testimonies into practice. And what happened? Result occurs for them. But you've been coming for long. How far? You are still in the comparison of what? Expectation. I know there is a very particular testimony I've always shared with most of us here, about a lady who kidnappers chased into this place. She was not coming to this place. She's not even a Catholic. But the very day she stepped in, she heard testimonies. And from the testimony she heard, she said every testimony she heard was associated with what? Just fountain water. And that was where she connected her own faith. Because she was not held bound by this comparison beyond expectation, She took the fountain water as simple as it is. And what happened? Her child, 4 years old, from birth has never walked. And she bathed that child with some drops of fountain water in the bathing water of that boy when she got home. And that boy walked. But for some of us, sometimes it is this lack of simplicity of faith that leads you to comparison of expectation, that you go to consultation and they will give you some simple prayers. You will be expecting the priest to write you long litany of prayers. It is not in the intensity, it is not in the length, but it is what? In the acceptance of the mighty work, the greatness of what Jesus can do in your life. And this simplicity of faith is what Jesus tells you and me today. Having found the issue, the challenge with rejection, there is something he tells us about the acceptance. Accepting the one who is sent and accepting the one who sent him. And that is all he needs from us. And if we take the epilogue of St. John's Gospel, the Gospel of John chapter 1 from verse 11 to 13. John says, from verse 11 he says, Jesus came to his own, yet his own people did not do what? Receive him. But to all those who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become what? Children of God. And these children of God are born not from human stock, not from human passion, but of the plan of God. Amen. Amen. That he came among his own, but they did what? Rejected him. But for those who accepted him by simply doing what? Believing, he then did what? Empowered. Some of us has not been empowered to become children of God because simply we have not done what? Believed. There is still element of doubt in our actions. Because element of doubt in your action will make you to think that it is about the intensity of prayer. And so that maybe you've prayed too long and the solution or the problem is not changing. And you do what? You think that this problem is a recurring problem. It is just part of my life. It is a lie. That problem is not part of your life. It is not the plan of God for you. And that is why he told us in verse 13 that for those he has given that power to be called children of God, it is not by flesh. That relationship, flesh. But it is by what? Grace. And that is what he invites you and me. That is what he invites you and me to come and share in today. And if we watch carefully to the structure of the gospel text, even with the people rejecting Jesus, did Jesus in turn reject them? Ụmụ Chineke, ewendi na apịọra, ngwa kwụrụ n'ọtọ. Everybody stand up. Because we finish rejection, we want to enter acceptance. And you need to know the secret of what? Accepting Jesus. Now, if we had paid attention to the gospel text, not minding what the people were saying, it did not deter Jesus. It did not stop him from doing what? Teaching the people. Because God does not give up in the project he has for each and every one of us. And because he doesn't give up in the project he has for each and every one of us, he will continue to do what? To speak to our hearts until the day grace manifests in your life. And I strongly believe that tonight grace will manifest in people's life. Then, because he continues to speak to the people, and he taught them, and their faith were strengthened, he made it clear that the other thing that will make us persevere is what? That unbelief can be overcome by your belief in the power of constant prayer. Your unbelief, that element of doubt in you that think it is about the intensity of the prayer, can be overcome by what? Mere constant, simple prayers. Amen. Now I'll tell you this story. A story is said about a church built close to a shrine. And this very congregation and believers of this very particular church were so much convinced that this shrine is not supposed to exist side by side with the church. And they went into prayer. And because they've been praying and praying and praying, at some point, they did different types of novena, different types of breakthrough prayer, different types of prayer program. And that shrine remained. And they returned to their simple prayer life. And they were consistent. But one fateful day, fire did what? Consumed the shrine. And when fire consumed the shrine, the owner of the shrine took church people to court. Amen. And when they got to court, you know, church people went and also got a lawyer. And it was funny. And when they got their lawyer presented their case after they've been accused and the whole defense. Do you know what the judge said? The judge laughed and said, why would they bring a case about those who don't believe in prayer and about a person who believes in prayer? Because the native doctor believed it is their prayer, but the church does not believe that it was their prayer. Because they held on to the intensity that they've done novena, they've done prayer program, they've done seminar, they've done all types of prayer package, and it didn't get born at that time. But when they went into simple, constant prayer every day, God did what? Responded. And that was how the judge wrote the case. Child of God, where does your own stand? Are you among the church people who do not believe in the effect of the prayer they said? Or you are this very native doctor who believe that what burnt his shrine is the prayer of the people of God? That is to let you know that constant prayer, very simple, but being what? Slow and steady. That prayer becomes part of you and it transforms you and it makes you look whole. That is the plan God has for you. And it is when such faith works for you, it is when you live by such faith that you see grace encounter and make do what? Turn around in your life. And it is when you make such prayers and open your life up for grace that the Spirit of God will come and dwell in it. And when God's Spirit dwells in it, He will do what? Work wonders. And at that point in time, we'll come to realize that indeed, every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple matter in the hands of God.
Every problem is a simple matter in the hands of God. My problem is a simple